with another Path of Exile 2 video. We made some pretty big changes compared to the last build. Thank you to the person that commented to tell me to put Herald Reservation on. This enabled me to get Cast on Crit. So, in case you can't tell, I have Cast on Crit. Yes, it is 100 Spirit. It is a very, very expensive gem, but it is well worth it. As you can see in the videos before, the boss damage is increased, the map damage is increased, the mana regen has decreased, but with a bit of mana leech and a bit of careful play on your passives, we're pretty good with mana, especially if you're using the Maelstrom mana flask. Without further ado, let's jump into the overall build. So, level 94, finally leveled up. It's taken a while, and we've got 4,791 energy shield, 1,142 mana, 4 resistances. I'm stuck at a point at the moment because I want to change my gear around, but in order to change my gear around, I need to buy it all once rather than buying bit by bit, or buy bits by bit and then make a record of what I've bought, because I take one thing off and it just lowers my resistances massively. 8% evasion, so it's a pretty good evasion chance. We've got, moving down, we've got 140 mana regen per second. We have around about 250, I think it is, maybe 300 with mana leech. Evasion rating 6638, like I said, full resistances, flash modifier, charge modifier, movement speed. This is what I want to change. I want to put this to 35, but I'm just trying to find some boots that are similar to mine. Skills. So, huge change, okay, on quite a lot of skills, like a significant amount of skills. So, Cast on Crit. We kind of run the similar setup to Elemental Invocation, except we've changed a few bits. So we've got Eye of Winter at level 13, which, like I said, we don't need to have it any higher than that. It's just a mana cost. It's only there to inflict critical weakness, and you gain 50% damage when it's passing over ground surface as well. So this inflicts the critical weakness, causes them to be critically weak, which then increases your damage. You get this to max quality, it has a 10% reduction in the reservation, so therefore instead of it costing 100 spirit, it costs 90 spirit. So it is well worth upgrading. So as I said, we have Eye of Winter. We've now got Voltaic Mark. This is at 80%, and then I've Val-Orbed it to get an extra quality. Ideally, you're only there for it to give you more chance to shock, and it marks a target. Realistically, you could probably get it to 8, which is the lowest, or I think it's 7 is the lowest, and then Val-Orb it even down to 6, so therefore your mana is even less. If you're struggling, put Inspiration on, so 40% less cost, and then we've got Chain plus 1 time, so the spotter kills gain more times, but they do less damage. Okay, none of these that were here for damage were there for to inflict critical weakness and then to mark the targets. So therefore this, as you can see in the video, Cast on Crit is bouncing out everywhere. Ice Strike, the biggest difference. A lot of people will be looking at that and going, what? How have you got over 4 million DPS when you've only got 172,000 on Ice Strike? And again, this is Path of Builder. A lot of people know I like to spend a lot of time on Path of Builder, playing with the build, changing around it. I've spent countless hours over these past few weeks editing, moving around, trying to make it work for my build and stuff like that. Obviously, my gear is not the best. As I said before, if I could have more divines, I would have better gear, and you'd see this number increase massively, and my overall output of damage would increase significantly as well. So we go to Ice Strike, we have Heft, Martial Tempo, Rage, Innervate, and Ice Bite. Okay, the reason why we're keeping this like this is because of the Tempest spell, and I'll explain in a minute. So Rage, I've opted for Rage. Eye of Winter, when Eye of Winter procs and it hits all the enemies around, Eye of Winter counts as hitting, so therefore it puts me at 30 Rage. So quite a lot of the time in big areas and breaches and stuff like that, I'm running at 30 Rage all the time. Add the Ice Bite, which is an extra 35% cold damage. Add Innervate, which is an extra lightning damage, so that's 70% increased damage there, plus your Rage, which is 35% as well, so that's 105% increased damage. I haven't even got any like Primal Armament or anything on it. Tempest Bell, we've gone for Overabundance, so we can have that one extra skill. Heavy Swing, Close Combat, Primal Armament, and Concentrated Effect. Thank you to FS Phantom on the YouTube video, where basically he suggested putting your physical skills into your Tempest Spell. It was a total game changer in boss damage. Like my boss damage went from maybe like 7-8 seconds to seconds. As you can see on some of my clips, some of my shorts, I'm wiping out tier 15, tier 16 bosses in a second, 2 seconds. Zesh, I think I wipe him out in about 7 seconds. And that would have been faster. The only difference was my charge staff run out. So when you put your physical damage into here, this damage increases significantly, and then you use this as kind of like your elemental proc, and this is your actual damage for bossing. What I do sometimes is I will swap these around. So if I want more damage, I'll swap these like that and run this at 297,000 when I'm mapping, and then when I get to a boss, I'll swap these around and then hit the boss with a bell. This number here, around about 70,000, 75,000, will one bell Zesh. So if you have around about 75,000 DPS on here, you can get rid of overabundance, which means that you can effectively drop one bell and you'll wipe him out. So that's what I'm aiming for. I can increase this significantly. You can put elemental focus on, but then elemental focus gives you the damage, but then doesn't freeze. And running without freeze is risky business, especially if you're so close to defeating the boss and they drop the hand or anything like that. It's a bit annoying. Grim Feast, as I said before, I want a better chest, which means that I want to get more spirit. So then I can kind of run clarity and accuracy, sorry. So therefore I can have these two here and increase my accuracy and my overall mana regen. But I need a better chest, which would cost a few divines, and it's very, very, very annoying. Wind Dancer, we've got Wind Wave, Blind, Inevitable Critical, and Unbreakable for this 200% stun threshold. Combat Frenzy, we're in Profusion. Herald of Thunder, changed it up quite a lot. So normally you would run Lightning Infusion in Herald of Ice and then Cold Infusion in Herald of Thunder, but we've gone back to normal and it's working. So we've got Long Shot for the extra attack damage, Glaciation for more freeze, which then causes Herald of Thunder to proc, Lightning Infusion keeps the damage higher, Ambush, which gives you the more critical hit chance, and then we're going for Conduction, which 100% chance to shock, which then causes Herald of Thunder to proc, Magnified Effect, Cold Infusion, and Super Critical. So I'm finding that these are proccing just the same amount. They're just doing a significant amount of damage. Okay, if I swap these two around, whereas Cold Infusion, the damage drops a huge amount. Obviously, when you're running Sims, these are kind of pointless. Herald of Ice specifically, so it's better to run Herald of Thunder as just like an add clear or like some basically to keep them at bay. Charge Staff, so we've got Persistence for the more skill generation, Culling Strike for the damage against rare enemies, Perpetual Charge for the 35% charge not to remove, Maim, and Overcharge. This is a 75% increased magnitude of shock inflicted with support skills. Right, let's move on to the gear. So, a few things have changed. One, I have a new staff. I've got a triple socket full crit damage bonus staff with mana regen. I got it for around about 6 divine. Again, my gear is not that expensive. So we've got 156% increased physical damage. Then we have your 14 to 22 physical damage, 38 to accuracy rating, which is a bit low, 35% critical damage bonus, 21% attack speed, and then leeches 5.87% physical damage as mana. And then we have 3 sockets. Okay, put critical damage bonus into your staff. Critical damage bonus gives you more damage overall, genuinely. But I've run this with Iron Ruins, and the damage is significantly better as critical damage bonus. Helmet's still the same, which is with the energy shield and corrupt it. So I've got 16% increased energy shield, and then we've got critical hit chance, intelligence, lightning resistance. Like I say, we're stuck at a certain point. Amulet, again, is the same with the attributes, dexterity. As I said before, I was going to go into stat stacker build, but then I decided not to. So I'm going to try and get this for a bit better of an amulet with mana regen, crit damage, crit bonus, and a few other bits. But again, you're looking at like 5, 6, 7, 8 divine. And I'd rather spend that money on maybe improving my ingenuity. Boots are the same. Again, I just want the 35% movement speed, which I'm going to try and get. Chest is the same. So I'm looking at a higher one, but in order to get one with similar stats to this, I'm looking around about 10, 15 divine, and I don't have that at the moment. Being able to wipe Zesh out pretty quick means I can run Zesh multiple times. So I was able to run Zesh a couple of times, and then I got a new Hauer with 20 to dexterity, 25 to intelligence, 3% attack speed, and then I was able to corrupt it to get 1 to 11 lightning damage, which then increased my damage quite a lot. Then we've got the Melting Maelstrom Ultimate Mana Flask. You can pick these up for like a couple of divine. Amazing. Pressure mana regen, which if you're on a keyboard, 2, and basically it just gives you full mana back. Stun, I've got it grants immunity to freeze, but I'll probably put the actual the stun one on the stone one, which is here. So I'll probably put this one on, but I'll end up looking at like getting one that has more recovery or more charges because it's not very good. But we'll put it on, we'll have a look. And then Ingenuity Belt, I'm at 69%. I did go on Path of Exile and put one at around about 77 to 80%, and my DPS went up like significant amount. I think a 77% put my DPS up overall like 400,000, and then an 80% put me up over like 600,000. So it was ridiculous how high and how good these belts are. Finally, we're moving to the passive tree. This is what's changed a lot. Originally, we was down here. We've got the Control Metamorphosis Diamond. I've moved it over to this side. So we'll start with the Ascendancy. We've got Lead Me Through Grace, I Am the Blizzard, I Am the Thunder, and Sunder My Enemies. Again, these are the best ones to run. Okay, I've tried running with Unbound Avatar, but the damage that I Am the Thunder gives you is just, it's too good not to run. Then we come around here, picked up Flow Like Water for the increased attack and cast speed and dexterity. Come back round this side for Mindful Awareness, and Step Like Mist for the movement speed and the mana regen. Move up to get Crashing Wave for the increased damage if you've dealt a critical hit in the past 8 seconds. As I said in my other video, Moment of Truth. Moment of Truth gives you a massive damage increase, especially if you've not dealt a critical hit, which on a build where I'm running around about 90% critical hit chance and over 1,000% critical hit damage, yeah, I kind of don't really need it, but the chances are one time I don't crit, and then if I don't crit, I will get an extra 25% damage. Come around this side, pick up Critical Exploit for an extra 25% critical hit chance. Then we pick up Insightfulness for mana regen, maximum energy shield, and intelligence. I did come around to this side and get the 40% energy shield, which puts me over 5,000 energy shield. And then I'm able to put a skill point elsewhere. But this gives you 6% increased intelligence, which then increases your overall mana. And on a build where Cast on Crit is proccing significantly, you need as much mana as possible. Then we come up here, we've gone into some elemental damage. So we've got Echoing Frost and Echoing Thunder. So we get 30% increased elemental damage if we shocked an enemy, and then we get 30% increased elemental damage if we chilled an enemy. So when you're proccing Herald of Thunder and Herald of Ice, or using Ice Strike, or using Charged Staff, you are shocking and you are proccing. Okay. Then we have Deadly Force, which is increased critical hit damage if you've dealt a critical hit in the past 8 seconds. For the Jugular, which gives you critical damage bonus. True Strike, Resonance, and then we've gone and put From Nothing. Passives in Zealot's Oath can be allocated without being connected to your tree. So this free From Nothing duel, I think it would cost me like 3 Divine or something like that. Go over here and we can drop Sharpened Claw, Tough Claw, and Swift Claw all into the tree for free, which gives me an extra 75% increased damage, which is a massive chunk. Then we move back, we go and we pick up Tenfold Attacks and Killer Instinct for the extra attack damage and the extra attack speed. Moving up, picking Internal Youth up, so when we use our flask, our health flask, it regens our energy shield because we are a Chaos Inoculation build. Then we have a jewel in here which gives me cold damage, energy shield, critical damage bonus, and mana regen rate. Moving up, getting the critical hit chance and Careful Assassin for the extra critical hit chance as well, but the reduced critical damage bonus. Thin Ice, which is a 20% increased freeze build up, but 50% increased damage with hits against frozen enemies. So you freeze the enemy, that's a 50% increased damage, which is a significant amount. Chaos Inoculation. Then we got the Rapture Stone, which gives me cold damage, energy shield, crit damage bonus, mana regen, and faster energy shield recharge. Kind of pointless as a recharge because I run Grim Feast, as I said before. Moving down, eventually, once I get a better chest, I'm going to drop this here and drop these nodes down here, which means I can get these two there, which gives me an extra 20% and then a 20%, so you get an extra 60% critical damage bonus when you consume the power charge. As because we're using Charged Staff and we're using Resonance, we're generating power charges with Combat Frenzy, so therefore every time from my instance where I press F, I'll be getting an extra 60% damage. Then we're going to take Throat Seeker, which is for the extra damage bonus but reduced critical hit chance. Come down here for a critical hit chance, attack speed, damage with quarterstaffs, and attack speed with quarterstaffs. Emerald, sorry. Then this is the biggest change. I've gone and put my Controlled Metamorphosis Diamond in this area here. As I said before, I complained that when I was using this, the pushback would cause like Zesh to go backwards, which means that you have to move forward, and when you move forward, you're not damaging him. So it's really, really, really annoying. So we put this, which has allowed me to get a lot of skills for free. So we've been able to get one with a river, which gives you more defenses, daze build up, freeze build up, and stun build up. Serrated Edges, which gives me a 10% increased critical hit chance, and then a 30% increased attack damage for rare or unique enemies. Then we have Manifold Method, which gives me 50% increased mana reach, and then 25% increased critical chance to inflict ailments against rare, so it means I can stun them more. This means I can have more damage. Enhanced Reflexes for the increased dexterity and the increased evasion rating, and then this would be able to give me Coming Calamity for the 50% increased damage to cold, fire and lightning, well affected by a herald. As I said before, if I have a better chest, I can get rid of herald reservation, probably get rid of these two here, and then drop them into there. But these, the 12% damages, give you quite a bit, so I might keep them in, maybe drop that down, put that into here, bring that around to there, and drop that into there. I don't know, I'll play around with it. Just on this side, because I run an energy shield build, we're going for Subterfuge Mask, which is 2 evasion per 1 maximum energy shield. Then finally, down to the bottom corner, Heartbreaking for the critical damage bonus, Struck Through for the attacks have 1% critical hit chance, and then the Heart Stopping for 10 intelligence and 25 increase critical hit chance, 25%. So that's the build. We're going to quickly jump onto Path of Builder. I'm going to explain a few little bits around it and how it works. Like I said before, and I said in multiple videos, you need to use Path of Builder. If you're not using it, you're missing out. Okay, what it says here does not reflect what is on your screen. So we're back in Path of Builder. As you can see here, I did go around using this, but then I've changed it, and I'm going to put that on, and then which puts me at 118. So therefore, I would drop that, and then as you can see, this is my damage. So this is your full DPS. Okay, as you can see, it tells you mana regen, tells you mana leech, so I'm getting 313 mana hit. I'm using 180 mana per second, and I'm doing 2.69 attacks per second. Obviously this is low because I'm not using like a high dex build. Then we've got your effective hit pool, your physical max, your elemental hit pool, your energy shield, so this is 4,682, your evasion rating, how much you're getting from the tree, what you get, what your chance is, your evasions, your movement speed, and then your overall DPS. So this overall DPS fluctuates massively. Okay, so as you can see on mine, I was getting 172,000 on my airstrike, but my actual DPS of airstrike is 1.9. The overall full DPS when I'm running max buffs with ice strike, rage, ice bite, etc., is around about 4.5 million. So as you can see here, you've got your configuration, number of power charges. So this is the difference when you're running 3, okay, and then this is the difference when you're running 5. Obviously, I will be running 5 once I get the build sorted out. Then you go for down to here. Have you not dealt a critical hit recently? So if you tick it, if you've not dealt a critical hit, you have 4.6 million. If I have dealt a critical hit, I have 4.4 million. All these things make a massive difference, especially at this point here, the enemy on full life. If the enemy's on full life, I can put this DPS over 6 million using a few different bits, which is this here. So first approach, as you can see, allocating this node and all nodes leading will give it 1,292,507 full DPS. But the downside with that is, yeah, it's great for mapping, but it's not so good for bossing. You do that first hit, which is amazing. It's going to do a stupid amount of damage, but then after that, your damage drops down to obviously 4 million. Okay, so if you look at the difference, it's nearly 6 million just from that alone, whereas I'm only on 4.6 there. Then you come down, have they been chilled, have they been frozen, multiple different factors. Like I say, play around with it, have a look, effective blind, effective shot ground, add a critical weak. For some reason, it's saying that my Eye of Winter, when I activate it, is not working properly. I don't know why. It's saying that I haven't got the spirit for it, but I don't know. I think it's a bug since it's updated. So I just click it off to show that this is it here. Then it shows you your items, as I said before. I've been playing around with multiple different things. This is my other helmet, which I have 1,186 evasion rating. So it shows me what happens when I put this helmet in. I've been playing around with some staffs. So as you can see, this is what the new armor would do. It's good. It's very easy to do. You just need to have the time to do it. All my skills are in here. Play around with them. What will happen? Go to my other items. I can click whichever I want to do. Change the anointment. Again, just play around. Just sit there. Look around these builds. I wouldn't mind running Herald of Ash and then getting your extra 30% element damage, or even going to your skills and going to Herald of Ice and putting Immolate on, which means that I can get a little bit of fire damage. I ideally want a diamond here, which gives me critical damage bonus or per major node or minor node, so which would then increase my damage a large amount as well. Like I say, this is the build. We can say it's 5.5, we can just say it's an updated build. Cast on crit is very, very good if you can support the mana cost. The damage is significantly higher than elemental invocation. The benefit of The downside of cast on crit is it procs whenever. If you have a 1000 crit modifier and then a 90% crit chance, you're going to find that it's going to crit a significant amount. As I said before, if I remove them, put the free charges down there, I'm at nearly 1100 crit multiplier and then 90% crit chance, and then my damage goes up significantly. So just by adding them two to that, that's what I'll probably do. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment and subscribe. Again, thank you all for the feedback. Thank you all for the support. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for allowing me to become a YouTube partnership, having the ability to have like memberships and stuff like that. Don't know whether I'm going to do it yet. Maybe come up with some ideas if I want to. But any feedback, let me know. Stay safe. Peace.